everyone, and welcome to another review. Today we're going to go ahead and touch upon a fragrance that was released this year, 2015. The fragrance we're going to touch upon today is called Polo Red Intense. Now, Polo Red Intense is a flanker of the original Polo Red that was pretty soon, just recently released. It's a fragrance that has gotten a little bit of accolade within the community. People have been talking about it and decided, I figured, I might as well go ahead and review this fragrance. Now, it comes in two main sizes. It comes in a 2.5 and a 4.2. It's the standard like Polo sizes. It's for the 2.5 you're going to run you $72 and the 4.2 is going to run you $89. I haven't seen it really discounted that much, but do some searching around. You'll probably be able to at least knock a couple bucks off that retail site price if you go to some of the discount sites. Alright, so let's go ahead and get right into the review. The notes of this fragrance. At our top we've got blood grapefruit, cranberry, lemon, and saffron. For our mid, we have ginger, coffee, sage, and lavender. And for our base, we have amber, cedar, and leather. Now, the first thing that I get when I smell this fragrance is a very nice berry-like, a berry vibe, if you will, to it. Now, I know this fragrance says that it has cranberry in it, and that's, perfectly fine with it as well, too. But I get, like, this cherry berry type vibe from it. Not really a cranberry. The cranberry, I don't really get. As the fragrance kind of develops, I start to get a little bit more of the amber. It starts to become a little bit more of a, I guess you could say, like a sensual scent as the scent kind of develops with it. It bears a lot of resemblance to the original Polo Red. The difference is with this one, it's a little bit stronger and it's a little bit fruitier. Now the fruitiness, like I was saying, that cherry vibe never really goes away, and it actually reminds me of something very simple. It reminds me of red flavored Kool-Aid, basically. If you've ever smelled red flavored Kool-Aid, or if you've smelled like the powder that comes up from it, that's what this smells me like. And the only reason why it reminded me of red flavored Kool-Aid was because of the fact that back in the day, long time ago, you know how there's those huge Gatorade, jugs basically that you have to fill with a bunch of water, and then you have to put in the Kool-Aid mix, and then you have to mix it around a lot. Well, a lot of times when I'm doing that, accidentally, your arm would actually get, well, not accidentally, but it was so, the jug was so big that your arm would get into it. You'd mix it around, you pull out your arm, it's like red, basically. And that smell coming off of it is really what reminded me of emanating the smell for this. So for that reason, I start to have a lot of problems equating it with sensuality, just because it's just constantly reminding me of red flavored Kool-Aid, and that's not sensual at all in my opinion. So it suffers a little bit of there for me, but at the same time I do think that it is a very nice smelling fragrance that kind of reminisces and reminds me of other scents like Invictus, like a little bit like 1 Million, in the way that it's got this like powdery type of vibe to it, but that's kind of what you get from it. Now, this fragrance, I go about 3 sprays with it. I think it's a good fragrance for the night out, but I don't think it's a good work fragrance or casual, or even dating for that matter for some reason. I do think that it is a great night out fragrance though in general, whether you be going to the club or you just be going out for a night on the town for dinner or whatever the case may be. For the season, I think this is a great fall and winter scent. The original Polo Red I thought was a good, spring, fall scent. This one's a little bit stronger, and I think that it is more suited towards the colder weather. So if you're looking for a fragrance right now, you might want to take a look at Polo Red, the Polo Red Intense, the newer version of it. Age group wise, I think this is a good fragrance for the younger generation. It does have a little bit more of a fruity vibe, and it tends to lend it to itself to more of a carefree, childish-like vibe to it. Projection-wise, this is where this actually is better than or better is relative, but better than the original. This I get 7 to 10 hours, whereas with the original, I would spray it on, it would feel like it was there for a while, and it would just drop off. This one doesn't happen with this. This lasts a solid 7 to 10 hours on my skin. Sometimes it lasted like 5 or 6, but that was few and far in between. Most of the time it was in between the 7 and 10 hour range. So this one, performance-wise, it's definitely there, and they learned from their previous issues. Compliment-wise, this did not get any compliments, but when people smelled it and I had them smell it, they thought that it was a good smelling fragrance, and there was a lot of positive remarks around that. No real negatives. except that it had like a too much of a candy vibe, I think is what one person said. So I mean, it's take it for what it's worth. So I'm going to go ahead and give this fragrance a rating. I give it a rating an 8 out of 10. To me, this is a solid offering from the House of Polo. It's a great fragrance in terms of longevity. It's going to last you a good amount of time. The one area that it really suffers in is versatility. It's not a versatile fragrance at all. I mean, night out for the cold weather, that's pretty much it. And on top of that, I do think that it is a little bit more suited to the younger generation rather than older generation. Overall, I would definitely say that this is worthy of a moniker of an intense version of Polo Red. Me personally, I think I prefer the original Polo Red version rather than Red Intense, just because I don't need fragrances that scream out, and I think that's a little bit more laid back than this one. And this one, on top of that, reminds me of Kool-Aid, which to me just isn't sensual, and I can't get it out of my head. All right. That said, it is still reasonably priced, and I predict that price to probably fall within the coming months or a year, because I don't think this is going to be one of those things that flies off of the shelf. But I do think that when the price goes down even more, I definitely think that this will be one worth purchasing and picking up to add to your arsenal. All right? So if you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free, send me a message, leave me a note, do whatever you got to do. Thank you guys, take care of yourselves, and have a great day.